All right, let's bring in our NFL insider, Jason La Canfora, who is really on top of this, really starting from Friday. And then the weekend, of course, Jason, the reports, the rumblings, and now it's official. What more can you tell us in what went into Tom Brady calling it a career?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think his statement really encapsulates where he was as a human being, right? Not just as a football player, not just as a quarterback, not just as a leader, not just as the GOAT, but where the point in time he reached in his life. And I'll take it back beyond this past weekend. I'll take it back to the middle of the week when they're preparing to face the Rams. And I'm doing my reporting, making my calls, reaching out. It was not on my radar. I was talking to people in that Bucs organization and people in that locker room about things going on with them individually or team-related things. And a couple of people mentioned, by the way, you better watch this game as if it's the last time you're ever going to see Tom Brady play. Because the sense we're getting is, from the way we're watching him interact, from nothing that he's saying, but a lot of things he's doing, we're bracing for this is the last dance, only nobody knows. And then I started doing a bunch more reporting on that. And by the time we reached kickoff of that game, I had reported the day before that there was a very strong sense among the people who knew him best in that locker room and in his life that this was no longer about playing till he was 50 years old. This was no longer about as much football for as long as humanly possible. This was about a guy who had made peace with his career, who understood that the odds of winning another Super Bowl are slight. He's going to take it to the limit, but this isn't about how it ends or what that last game is. This is about him reaching a point in his life where he's now going to turn himself over, mind, body, and soul to his family and other ventures, and is no longer going to be chasing those Lombardi trophies, no matter what happens against the Rams or moving forward. And since that point, nothing in my reporting has changed or wavered. In fact, it's only become more steadfast because the people I'm talking to were doubling down even more, saying, look, he's going to do this soon. He's going to do it his own way, but he has made peace with this personally. It's just a matter of when he's going to share his secret or his truth with the world. And obviously, that came this morning.
All right, so he was looking for somewhat of an Elway-esque type finish with back-to-back Super Bowls before calling it a career. Obviously, it fell short. Team went all in to try to go back-to-back. With Tom Brady leaving the game of football and the NFL specifically, where is the league, where is the sport at the moment, in your opinion, with Tom Brady now gone?
I mean, look, he leaves the league even more of this all-encompassing power in our country than what he inherited. And I was listening to Scott Pioli and the great things he had to say, and I started thinking back to the first Brady game that I covered as a beat writer at the Washington Post, and that AFC Championship game at Pittsburgh, where the Steelers had no answers for him, and they went on through that 2004 playoffs. They beat Philadelphia in the Super Bowl, and at that point, you're now looking at a team that had won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and you're talking about this burgeoning dynasty. Now, it turns out that dynasty was about to fizzle a little bit. There was a whole nother dynasty with a whole different set of players, except for basically Brady, who would go on to do it again, and then he would put a cap on it by becoming the first quarterback in history to win a Super Bowl in his home stadium. And he did it in a COVID year, switching conferences and not having a normal offseason. So, and the NFL has continued to grow, obviously, and you think of signature moments. I mean, beating the greatest show on turf, nobody saw that coming. He had nothing to do with it, but the whole Janet Jackson fiasco was one of his Super Bowls, you know, the whole Justin Timberlake thing. You think about overcoming that deficit against Atlanta, that's unthinkable. The Malcolm Butler Super Bowl and the way they managed to win that one and hold off the Seahawks. I mean, as a kid, and I'm about his age, I'm a little older, well, I'm 4 years older than him. But regardless of a similar age, like, Joe Montana was this impossible thing, right? Like, well, who could ever do what he did, and who's going to do it now in a salary cap era with contracts being what they are and parity? And he doubles Montana, basically, and does it in the greatest generation of quarterbacks ever. Like, how good was Ben Roethlisberger? How good was Peyton Manning? You know, how good is Aaron Rodgers? You can add all them up combined. They haven't done what Tom Brady's done when you start talking about playoff accomplishments. Like, we often look at it, I think, almost reverse. Like, you know, what effect Brady had on all those other guys. How did he beat the best of the best? Like, how did he do that? It's impossible. It's impossible. And he came damn close to winning more. So I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again. Certainly he leaves the league again, a bigger monolith, an all-consuming sort of league in this country. The league's grown greater globally because of him, and he's been a tremendous ambassador for the sport. And now we'll see what he does in his other ventures, and obviously he has things he's invested in. He's got production companies. We know he's become a social media starlet, so we'll see what's next.
Yeah, we think about the eras, 80s, 90s, and then Tom Brady and the Patriots, both 2000s and 2010s, and then a cherry on top, getting it done with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Speaking of the Bucks, Jason, where does Tampa Bay go from here? Jason Light and Company, what's the plan?
Look, you knew when you brought Tom Brady in that this was a year-to-year proposition. And you're making a bargain that you're going to drink from that chalice at least once, because when he moves on, I mean, look at what happened in New England. And you're talking about free agents. You know, Ryan Jensen, is he going to stick around now? He's arguably the best center in the league. Does he want to go somewhere else and try to win? Is it Ndamukong Suh? You know, is he thinking about retirement at this point? You know, Godwin off the injury is a free agent. Is he going to do? It's one thing if Tom Brady's there, and I'll come back on a prove it deal because I know that offense. It's very different if it's Kyle Trask or whomever, Gardner Minshew, whatever. All of a sudden, your ability to attract players, to get them to come there more cheaply, no matter how many suitors they have, that's over. I mean, everybody loves BA, Bruce Arians, but guys at the end of their career aren't lining up to make less money to go to Tampa Bay anymore. That's over. They're rebuilding. The whole shape of the NFC, if you're talking no Tom Brady, no Sean Payton, and maybe no Aaron Rodgers, that shifts the balance a little bit in that conference. So, yeah, it'll be fascinating to see what the Bucs do. But to expect them to be what they've been is impossible. And they were never going to keep all 22 together again anyway, which at least played some role in Brady's decision, although I was told throughout the process it really wasn't about that. I mean, yes, he's smart. He gets it. But this was more about, again, ending a chapter of his life and sort of recommitting in a year-round way to his family. And you know, not living that TB12 lifestyle to the nth degree, knowing what it takes to be mentally and physically prepared at age 45 to go out and try to play 22 odd football games.
Jason, appreciate it, my man. Good reporting there. Joining us with the breaking news again. Tom Brady on social media, calling it a career, announcing his retirement. This is from our social team. Tom Brady, if you broke it down, essentially has had 3 Hall of Fame careers. The early stages, of course, 3 and 4 years with the Patriots. Then there was that lull. You thought that they would be able to win a few more with some of those monster teams, Jenny. And just think about the conversation with Tom Brady, because Aaron Rodgers, 1 ring.
Yep.
Drew Brees, 1 ring. The Mannings have 2 each, and especially for Eli beating Tom. But that's the bar of like how tough it is, you think, to win multiple. And Brady's got 7.
7. The best to ever do it.
83 wins, that third stint, so to speak, from 2015 to 21, which included both stops at New England and Tampa Bay.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.